Good morning. Today I am feeling conflicted in my emotions. I'm trying to remind myself to not be afraid and to be hopeful for the future. This is just a season and all of this will pass. How are you feeling today? Are you experiencing the same things of having different emotions? You can send me a message and let me know, or you can leave a comment below after this video and let me know there too. I want to give a little shout out today to both Sophie, Jocelyn, Ariel, and Manat. Thank you so much for sending me emails back. I love hearing about what you're doing at home. I love that you tell me about your pets, about your siblings, and what you're creating and making. So you might be wondering what happened in chapter 4 of The Last Battle. So at the end of chapter 3, King Tyrion got knocked over the head, and all these Calamarian men tied him up to a tree to keep him out of the way because he started saying something that was against what Shift the Ape was declaring as he was trying to deceive and lie all of the Narnian people. In the middle of the night, there's some animals that come to his aid. There's a few moles and a few mice. And they bring Tyrion some food and water, and they wipe his face off. It had gotten bloody from being hit. And he starts asking these animals, do you really think Aslan is the one who's killing the wood nymphs and making you all slaves to the king of Calmor? All of the stories that have been passed down throughout hundreds of years has told that Aslan the Great is this wonderful lion. He is not a tame lion, but he is a just ruler, and that he loves everybody that lives in Narnia. So for this idea that Aslan is coming and putting the talking beasts into slavery is very opposite of who he's supposed to be and his character and his nature. So this is why King Tyrion doesn't really believe that these things are really being done in the name of Aslan. He sees this thing happen really far away. At the top of the hill where Puzzle and Shift are, there's this huge bonfire that comes up. He sees Aslan come out, which is really Puzzle, wearing the lion's coat, and he walks around in a circle. Shift goes and listens to something that Aslan is telling him, and then Aslan turns around and walks back into the tent. King Tyrion starts to recall in his mind about who Aslan is, that Aslan is good and that Aslan is kind and that he is for his people, not against them. He quickly comes to the decision that this has got to be fake. This is a lie. There is something that's really wrong with this situation. So he does the only thing that he can do, and he calls out, Aslan, 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 come and help us now. And he thinks to himself, let me be killed. I ask nothing for myself, but come and save all of Narnia. So King Tyrion comes to this point in a decision making in his own heart where he's saying, I would gladly give up my own life so that you would come and rescue your people. So nothing dramatic or big happens in that moment. But what happens is that King Tyrion goes through what's called a heart change, and something inside of him changes where he goes from rash and angry and making decisions out of haste to a really humble place of, you know what? I want to give my life so that all of my people can be free and live in the freedom that is rightly theirs. As he's remembering the stories of old that have been passed down from Aslan, he remembers that there's been these stories about children coming from another world and helping out the people of Narnia, and that they ruled as kings and queens and that they were good people. And so he starts crying out for these children to come and to save his people and to come help in this time. And all of a sudden he goes into this dream. It's a dream or it's a vision. You can't really tell the difference in this setting. But all of a sudden he's at this table and he looks around him and he sees these 7 people, and some of them are really old and really wise, but very noble. And then some of them are younger and they can see him. And so they start asking King Tyrion, speak, who are you? I am Peter, the High King. And King Tyrion tries to speak though. He's trying to interact with these people. He can see them seeing him. And then he starts to fade out. And he awakes from his dream. And it says at the very end, that waking was the worst moment he had ever had in his life. So that is what happens in chapter 4, and we will have to see if there are people that are going to come help aid King Tyrion and what's going to happen to all the people of Narnia. Bye.